Charlie Chaplin, or Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, was a British actor, comedian, director, composer, screenwriter, filmmaker, editor, and musician. Chaplin was one of the actors of the silent film era, known for his use of mime and slapstick comedy. He is well known for his movies The Immigrant, The Boy, Gold Digger, which he considers his best film, The Circus, City Lights, Modern Times, The Great Dictator, Spotlights, A King in New York, and The Countess from Hong Kong. Influenced by the work of his predecessors, the French comedian Max Linder, Georges Méliès, D.W. Griffith Louis and Auguste Lumière, and sharing work with Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford, he was influenced by mime, pantomime and the slapstick genre, and influenced in a great team of comedians and filmmakers such as Federico Fellini, The Three Stooges, Peter Sellers, Milton Berle, Marcel Marceau, Jacques Tati, Rowan Atkinson, Johnny Depp, Michael Jackson, Sacha Baron Cohen, Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton, Roberto Gomez Bolaños, El Chavo, Renato Aragao and other directors and comedians. He is considered by some critics to be the greatest film artist of all time and one of the fathers of cinema, along with the Lumiere brothers, Georges Méliès and D.W. Griffith. Charlie Chaplin acted, directed, wrote, produced and financed his own films, heavily influenced by his predecessor, the French comedian Max Linder, to whom he dedicated one of his films. His entertainment career spanned more than 75 years, from his first performances as a child in UK theatres during the Victorian era almost until his death at the age of 88. His public and private life encompassed adulation and controversy. Along with Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith, Chaplin founded United Artists in 1919. His main and most famous character was El Vagabundo, known as Charlot in Europe and also known as Carlitos or O Vagabundo in Brazil. It consists of a poor tramp possessing all the refined manners and dignity of a gentleman, dressed in a frayed black tailcoat, worn trousers and shoes too big for him, a bowler or top hat, a bamboo cane and, his personal trademark, a small mustache. He was also a talented chess player and even faced the American champion Samuel Reshevsky. Chaplin, who was left-handed, was born on April 16, 1889, reportedly on East Street, Walworth, London, England. His parents were music hall artists. His father, Charles Spencer Chaplin Sr., was a vocalist and actor, and his mother, Hannah Chaplin, was a singer and actress. Both separated before Charlie was 3 years old. Following the separation, Chaplin was left in the care of his increasingly emotionally unstable mother. The 1891 census shows that his mother lived with Charlie and his older half-brother Sidney John Hawkes, 1885–1965, in Barlow Street, Walworth. As a child, Chaplin lived with his mother, and sometimes also his half-brother Sidney, at various addresses around Kennington Road in the Lambeth district of Greater London. During this period, his main residence was at 3 Pownell Terrace. A laryngeal problem ended Chaplin's mother's singing career. Due to one of his hospitalizations as a result of his mental problems, he suffered from nervous breakdown and malnutrition. His children were hospitalized for several weeks at Lambeth Asylum in South London and then at the Hanwell School for Orphans and Poor Boys. From June 1896 to January 1898. Charlie Chaplin's father was an alcoholic and had little contact with his son. When Chaplin's mother was admitted to Cane Hill Asylum in August 1898, due to her severe mental problems, Chaplin and Sidney moved in with Chaplin's father and his mistress, Louise, at 289 Kennington Road. This coexistence with his father was conflictive and lasted less than 2 months. In the U.S., Chaplin's first American tour with the Fred Carnot Company took place between 1910 and 1912. After 5 months back in England, he returned to the United States on a second tour with Carnot's company, again arriving in the United States on October 2, 1912. At Carnot Company was Arthur Stanley Jefferson, who would later be known as Stan Laurel. Chaplin and Laurel shared a room in a pension. Stan Laurel returned to England, but Chaplin remained in the United States. In 1913 Chaplin's performance was finally seen by Mack Sennett, Mabel Normand, Minta Durfee and Fatty Arbuckle. Sennett hired him for his studio, the Keystone Film Company, as they needed a replacement for Ford Sterling. Chaplin initially had great difficulty adjusting to Keystone's cinematic style of acting. After Chaplin's film debut in How to Make a Living, Sennett felt that he had made a huge mistake. Many claim that it was Normand who convinced him to give Chaplin a second chance. Chaplin began working together with Normand, who directed and wrote several of his early films. Chaplin did not like being directed by a woman, and the two frequently argued. He believed that Sennett intended to fire him if there was a fight with Normand. However, Chaplin's films were so successful that he became one of Keystone's biggest stars. It was at the Keystone studio that Chaplin developed his main and best-known character, the Tramp. The Tramp is a poor tramp who has all the fine manners and dignity of a gentleman. He always appears with a tight jacket, worn pants and shoes wider than his size, and a bowler hat, carries a bamboo cane, and has a small brush mustache. Audiences first saw the character in Chaplin's second film, Kid Auto Races at Venice, released on February 7, 1914. However, he had already created the character's look for the film Mabel's Strange Predicament, produced a few days before but released later, on February 9, 1914. Chaplin's early films at Keystone Studios used the standard Max Sennett formula, which consisted of extreme slapstick comedy and exaggerated mannerisms. Chaplin's pantomime was more subtle, being more suitable for romantic comedies and domestic farces. The sight jokes, however, followed Keystone's comedy pattern exactly. In his movies, the Tramp aggressively attacked his enemies with kicks and bricks. Audiences at the time loved this new comedian, despite critics' warning that the character's antics bordered on vulgarity. Soon after, Chaplin offered to direct and edit his own films. During his first year in the film industry, he made 34 short films for Sennett, as well as the feature film Tilly's Punctured Romance. This video is just a summary, and of course many things were left out. Don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to our channel, and until next time.